Hi everyone, good evening, good evening. I hope all of you are doing great. Welcome to Unacademy's YouTube channel. My name is Hafsa Malik and I am your educator for psychology on Unacademy for NTA-UGC NET. Alright, okay, so I hope everybody is doing great. I can see that some of you are here. We will wait a little while and we will wait for others to join in as well. And then we will get started. Today's class is quite important. Therefore, I have chosen to make it, a YouTube class so that all of you can find it easy to access as well. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Let me quickly post in the group saying class has started and then we shall commence. All right, give me one moment, please. Meanwhile, let me know how everybody is doing. Happy Friday to everybody. Happy weekend to everybody. All right, chali. Let's get back. Let's get back. Good evening. Good evening. How are we doing? I hope all of you are doing great. I am well, if you're asking. And today we are going to talk about Spearman's tetrad equation. Very important topic. Considered very difficult. For a reason, for no reason, we will find out. It is considered difficult, but it is not impossible to understand. So today I shall try to break this down for you. मैं ये आपके लिए easy बनाने की कोशिश करूंगी आज. I hope you will all understand and I also hope that all of you will enjoy learning with me. Let's get started. Let's get started. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Chaliye. I hope I am clearly visible and I hope I am clearly audible as well. Yeah? Please let me know if that is the case. I should be clearly visible, clearly audible and all of that. Chali, let's get started then. So what we see here is a little brain and then what we see here is basically the general factor and the specific factor. So we will go back to our dear old Spearman. Before that, I want to tell you all. If you would like to join my classes, अगर आप नेट JRF या दूसरे competitive exams के लिए मेरे साथ पढ़ना चाहते हो, if you want to study with me, if you want to clear your JRF with me, if you want to prepare for other exams, you can simply go on Unacademy, use the code Hafsa Live to not only access free classes, but also if you want to get a subscription, आपको यहाँ पे इससे 10% off या 10% discount मिलेगा. Alright, you will get a 10% discount on any subscription at all, whether you choose Plus or whether you choose Iconic. It's completely up to you. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Chaliye. Alright. Ma'am, today's class for 90 minutes or 60 minutes? Neither 60 nor 90. It'll be around 75 minutes. Okay? Alright? It'll be around 75 minutes. It will not be 90 minutes. Chaliye. That depends on the level of all of your understanding. Now, if you want to watch more of my classes, you can join my Telegram group, which is affiliated to my Unacademy classes, where I share details of my free classes so that you can access them on Unacademy. Alright, okay, I have a complete batch going on with other top educators on Unacademy as well. So go ahead and join. What are you waiting for? Alright, norms will continue to be the same. My first YouTube class, ma'am, since now I covered from recording. Okay, alright, fine, no problem, let's go. I'm glad you were able to make it here live. Okay, teak. Now we know that Charles Spearman in what year invented or talked about factor analysis to study the structure of intelligence? बताइए. तो फिर चार्ल्स स्पेयरमैन ने किया क्या? What methodology did he use to actually understand human intelligence? He used the process of factor analysis or the method of factor analysis, right? And we know what do we do in factor analysis? We basically correlate multiple factors. हम बहुत सारे factors लेते हैं और उनको correlate करते हैं. Right, when we do testing, it is not the independent variable but the dependent variable and uske underlying factors which we actually analyze. Okay, so he did something exactly like that. So he knew that we have different specific types of intelligence. He was very well aware कि हमारे पास spatial intelligence होती है, mechanical intelligence होती है, numerical, musical, this and that and all of that. And he initially said कि हमारे पास specific factors होते हैं which contribute to different types of intelligences. That is what Charles Spearman's argument began like. तो इनकी argument यहाँ से start हुई. उसके बाद he thought that these specific factors were unrelated. पहले उनको लगा कि ये जो specific factors हैं ये unrelated होंगे. ठीक है. were initially, but then later he did change his mind. तो बाद में उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं नहीं, इनमें तो correlations हैं, definitely correlations हैं. तो correlations क्यों हैं, कैसे हैं, कहाँ से आए, we will talk about it. We will talk about it. ठीक है. तो specific factors were initially what? They were initially believed to be independent of each other. मतलब अनरिलेटेड इनको पहले माना गया था, लेकिन बाद में स्पीयरमैन ने ये समझा कि देखो इनकी रिलेशनशिप है एक दूसरे के साथ, डेफिनेटली इनकी रिलेशनशिप है एक दूसरे के साथ. कैसे है, क्यों है, ये हम देखेंगे. ठीक है. नाउ इफ आई टेल यू दैट ये SA इज मैथ, ओके, and SB let us say is statistics, or let us say that this is basic general reasoning, logical reasoning. सोचो आप, क्या आपको लगता है कि जो लोग मैथ नहीं सीख पाएंगे, इवन 1 2 3 4, वो अच्छी रीजनिंग कर पाएंगे? Do you think people who will not at all be able to understand even numericals, do you think they'll be good at logical reasoning? Not true. Not true. And the honest truth here is, यहाँ पे सच्चाई क्या है कि आप देखोगे there is somewhat of a common factor of intelligence which Spearman later found to be the G factor. Right? So he said one G factor and many S factors. और ये structure कैसे हमने obtain किया, we will talk about it. But here what we need to understand is there's a sort of consensus here from Spearman and his many tests that he conducted, that no matter what special skills or special abilities we have, all of them have to have some basic intelligence that we must possess for us to be able to comprehend something in the world, for us to be able to reason, for us to be able to understand. आप देखते हो कि कई लोग quick होते हैं in everything in life, right? So according to according to Spearman, those people would basically be high on the general factor, which later has some contribution to not only their math skills but also their logical reasoning skills, science learning skills, and so on. All right. Okay. Wonderful. Then let's try to understand कि कैसे. How did he say that there is one general factor and multiple S factors? With me so far? Any doubts so far? Please let me know. We'll take it really slow. All of the class is actually dedicated to the tetrad equation, and slowly we will also understand what other models followed later. कि इसके बाद क्या क्या models बाद में आए और इसको कौन कौन से models follow करते हैं इसी model को. तो you can ask if there are any doubts so far, guys. You can ask. कोई भी doubts नहीं है तो all right, wonderful. Then let's try to understand. So this is what a कोरिलेशन मैट्रिक्स लुक्स लाइक. ठीक है. जब आप फैक्टर एनालिसिस करते हो तो आपका कोरिलेशन मैट्रिक्स ऐसे ही दिखता है. ओके. सो यू सी व्हाट इज ही डन. ये सब टेस्ट हैं, राइट? सो एनालॉजीज इज वन. सो कैन आई से हियर आल्सो बेसिकली व्हाट आई हैव इज एनालॉजीज, राइट? Completion is nothing but 2. Understanding graphs is 3. ये सब आपके जैसे intelligence के test में you have specific abilities that are checked. Here also we are checking for specific abilities. This is actual Spearman's table. Spearman's factor analysis table. Number 5 is instructions, number 6 is resemblances, and number 7 is inferences. First of all, let's try to understand the abilities. यहाँ पे जो abilities दी हुई हैं उनका मतलब क्या है और ये intelligence से कैसे relate करती हैं? Let's try to first understand. So here analogies, have you ever heard of this in problem solving? If I have solved a problem earlier, I should be able to solve a new but similar problem. Like fixing a bike, makes it easy for you to maybe think about fixing a car. Maybe fixing a doorknob helps you fix the hinges of a window. Like that. ठीक है. Then another one is completion. Sentence completion, picture completion, right? ये भी intelligence test में आम तौर पे करते हैं. Very commonly done in intelligence tests. Okay. Understanding paragraphs, nothing but verbal comprehension. Then you have opposites, which is antonyms. Opposite words कहना, जैसे हम word association खेलते हैं, यहाँ पे exactly आपको opposite words पूछ रहे हैं, right? Synonyms, antonyms, तो antonyms पूछ रहे हैं आप. Then you have instructions. Instructions simply mean that, okay, draw this now, okay, turn to the left, okay, blink your eyes, or some basic, like we have in alpha beta. In alpha beta intelligence test, we check for whether people are able to follow instructions or not. उसके बाद resemblances is the opposite of opposites, obviously. This is talking about what? This is talking about synonyms. उसके बाद drawing inferences, logical reasoning. All right. So all of these somewhat seem relevant to, intelligence, aptitude, and so on. ठीक है? Or day-to-day life skills also, problem solving ability. So here he found that all of these abilities somewhere were correlated to one another. ये देखिए आप, अगर आप यहाँ पे 7 abilities देखेंगे, यहाँ पे भी यही 7 abilities हैं, और जब हम इनकी correlations करते हैं, can I say that all of these 7 are nothing but specific abilities or specific factors? Can I say that? That all of these 7 are nothing but specific factors? They are specific factors. ठीक है? Okay. All right. Now, if I can find correlations between all of the 7 specific factors, ऐसा कोई factor नहीं है जिसके दूसरे factor के साथ correlation ना हो. There is no one factor which doesn't have any correlation to the other factors. What does that mean? Can I somehow and somewhat say that there is one common ability which must be present across all of these? है ना, कि हमारी कुछ internal capacity होनी चाहिए ये सारी चीजें समझने के लिए, ये सारी चीजें करने के लिए, and तभी हम देख रहे हैं कि सारी abilities के अंदर correlation है. There is a correlation between all of the 7 abilities across. Yes, absolutely. Therefore, I will conclude here that there must be a G factor. There must be a G factor. और आप देखोगे, क्या देखोगे आप? See. Now here I see that correlation between completion and analogy is 0.50, whereas inferences and analogies is 0.8, whereas inferences and completion is only 0.34. So actually, can I say that the amount of G factor, okay, Karan, can I say that the amount of G factor in each of these abilities is the same or is it different? आप मुझे बताइए, आप मुझे बताइए, क्या हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि द अमाउंट ऑफ जी, अगर जी फैक्टर प्रेजेंट है, हमने यहाँ पे डिस्कस किया है कि देखो आपके सॉरी, मैथ में भी थोड़ा रोल है जी फैक्टर का, आपकी लॉजिकल रीजनिंग में भी थोड़ा रोल है जी फैक्टर का, तो क्या इक्वल अमाउंट ऑफ जी फैक्टर प्रेजेंट है मैथ में और रीजनिंग में और इंग्लिश में और कंप्लीशन में, इंस्ट्रक्शंस में एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट? कैन आई से दैट? No, no. That is why there is a difference in the correlations, right? You see a smaller correlation here. So it's possible that the amount of G factor in instructions is not the same as the amount of G factor in completion, right? That is exactly what it means. And you will see the higher the correlation, the higher the degree of generality. मतलब G factor यहाँ पे ज़्यादा present है. Analogy और opposites में जिस किस्म का G factor present है, it is in similar quantities. Absolutely, absolutely. तो अलग-अलग amounts of G factor is present along with different specific factors, and that is what basically makes up the whole specific ability. Then can I say that all of the specific abilities are related to one another by virtue of the G factor? क्या हम ऐसे कह सकते हैं कि जो सारे specific factors हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं एक दूसरे से correlated होंगे क्योंकि वो वहाँ कोई contribution है G factor का? All right. Okay. Wonderful. So we can conclude that each and every specific factor is correlated with, to a certain extent, apni. It's not like it's going to have the same correlation with all other specific factors. With other specific factors. क्यों ऐसा? By virtue of G factor, can I say? By virtue of G factor, I can say. Absolutely. Now we also need to understand that the amount of G factor present in each specific ability varies. The amount of G factor in or varies with each specific ability. All right. Okay. ठीक है. Wonderful. So far we have understood this. We have understood. Now how did he prove the existence of the G factor? अभी तो ठीक है, इनको लग रहा था Spearman was basically getting somewhat of a hint that there must be a general factor which is underlying all of the specific factors. Now how did he prove its existence? He was able to prove the existence of the G factor through the tetrad equation. Okay, proved the existence of the G factor through the tetrad differences or tetrad equation also it is called. Now we come to the real part. Alright, so far with me? Any doubts so far? Please let me know. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Before asking also people are, okay, that's great. That's great. Now what are these tetrad differences? We will first check out over here. We'll try to understand them over here and then हम जाके खुद ये एक बार try करेंगे. Okay, alright. Fine. Now what are these R31, R24 and so on? Let's try to understand. And then we'll see that R13 into R24 minus R1. ठीक है, let's actually do this on a new page. Let us say now I have the same four. What? Okay, alright, so we have four abilities. Never mind, sorry, somebody is spamming. So let us say I have abilities. I have four abilities. या यहीं पे ले लेते हैं. Let's say these are specific abilities, right? So think of the first four abilities. Do these abilities seem similar? Do they all seem to belong to an aptitude test? क्या ये abilities आपको similar दिखती हैं? As in एक category की लगती हैं? कि ये vocabularies के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं या aptitude, general aptitude के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं? Yes? So I will basically do one thing. Can I say this is factor number 1, this is factor number 2, this is factor number 3 and this is factor number 4. Making sense? हाँ जी, ये हमारे चार factors हैं, पहले चार factors हैं. So if I want to check for the tetrad equation and the tetrad difference, let's try to understand how I may do it. Alright? So R1, 2, can I say is the correlation? R1, 2 is the correlation coefficient which shows correlation between factor 1 and 2, can I say? Between factor 1 and 2. Okay, alright. And R34, can I say, is nothing but correlation shown between factor 3 and 4? I can say that. I can say that. ठीक है? Okay, fine, wonderful. Now, according to the tetrad differences or the tetrad equation, I'll write down here as well. Tetrad equation. When I subtract the multiplication of the correlation coefficients of four factors, I should be able to get a 0 in the end in similar abilities. ये देखिए कैसे. So R12 into R34 minus R13 into R24. 0 होना चाहिए. Because after all it's just correlations, हम इन्हीं abilities की एक दूसरे के साथ check कर रहे हैं. So this will be correlation of R1 and 3 and this will be of factor 2 and 4. So if I take any four abilities and if I multiply all of their correlations, I should be able to get a difference of zero. That means कि पूरा G factor हमने cancel out कर दिया है और कुछ नहीं बचा, खत्म, right? Absolutely. So what I have basically done is I'm basically subtracting all of the, because they are nothing but correlations which we are checking with each other. So once I cancel out or subtract all of the G factor from the G factor itself, which is the base of the correlation, I should be ideally left with a zero. ठीक है? Ideally left with zero. Okay. All right. ठीक है. चलिए. Now any doubts here? Please let me know. Again here Spearman thought कि always it should be zero. पहले इन्होंने ऐसे कहा कि हमेशा zero होना चाहिए. Later, did he change his mind or not? We will discuss. First, let me know if everything is good or if there are any doubts or any confusions, please ask. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. All clear? Okay. All right. Everybody is clear. So if I ask you about क्या कहते हैं इसको? If I ask you about tetrad equation tomorrow, will you be able to tell me everything? So we do not add, but we multiply here. Please be very, very careful over here. And can I say that any four abilities, tetrad equation is the difference between the correlations of any four abilities? मैम सब्ट्रैक्शन पार्ट इन हिंदी प्लीज. सब्ट्रैक्शन पार्ट क्या? मैम अगर जीरो ही आएगा तो कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट, अगर जीरो, आप रुको तो वो मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगी आपको. मैम कैन यू प्लीज रिपीट? हाँ जी, आई कैन रिपीट. जिसका कल गलत हुआ बस सोच लो. हाँ क्या? हाँ. ऑल राइट गाइज, लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग हियर. ये हम एक बार फिर से मैं हिंदी में रिपीट कर रही हूँ, आप सुनिए. देखिए, R1 2 क्या है? हमारी फैक्टर्स 1 एंड 2 के बीच में जो कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट है, मतलब ये R12, ठीक है. R1 और 2 ये है R1 2 0.50, ठीक है. इसको मल्टीप्लाई करना है किसके साथ? R34 लिया है ना. क्या है यहाँ पे? 3 और 4, 0.49. ये है R34 आपका. दिस इज R12. एंड फिर हम ऊपर से लेंगे, क्या लेंगे हम? R1 एंड R3 हमने लिया, फिर राइट. R1 एंड 3 लिया और हमने 2 और 4 लिया. कहाँ गया? ओके. R2 एंड 4. जब आप इन चीजों को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, डिवाइड करेंगे, यू शुड गेट आइडियली, व्हाट शुड यू गेट? यू शुड गेट अ जीरो. आपको एंड में जीरो मिलना चाहिए, ठीक है. टेट्राड डिफरेंसेस, टेट्राड इक्वेशन, मतलब आप क्या करेंगे यहाँ पे? आप चार एबिलिटीज की कोरिलेशंस ले रहे हैं, उनको बस आप रोटेट कर रहे हैं, फैक्टर्स को नहीं रोटेट कर रहे हैं. आप बस ये देखो, कोरिलेशन 1 को फैक्टर कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट, ये आर क्या है? ये पियर्सन्स आर है ना. पियर्सन्स आर. और ये क्या दिखाता है? ये कोरिलेशन बिटवीन टू वेरिएबल्स दिखाता है. कोरिलेशन बिटवीन, यहां तो लिखा है ना, कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट. इट शोज कोरिलेशन बिटवीन फैक्टर्स 1 एंड 2. तो इसको, जब मैं तो डरना मना है. व्हाट इवन. वेरी वेरी गुड शुभांगी. हाँ, डरना नहीं है. देखिए, ऑल राइट. देखिए, तो R12 is nothing but the correlation coefficient between the factor 1 and factor number 2, and R34 is nothing but the correlation coefficient or the correlation between factor number 3 and 4. फिर क्या है ये R13? क्या है? It is nothing but the correlation between factor 1 and factor 3 and correlation between factor 2 and factor 4. तो आप कोई भी चार abilities को लो within a single group actually, and then आप इनके correlations को ऐसे manipulate करो और subtract करो. क्या आएगा? जीरो आएगा. क्योंकि हो क्या रहा है, इनकी correlations कैन आई से सारी G factor से ही बनी है. कैन आई से कि यहाँ पे इनकी जो भी correlations हैं G factor से बनी है. ओके. जब G फैक्टर से ही बनी है और जब हम पूरे चार फैक्टर्स का G फैक्टर एक दूसरे से सब्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो क्या होगा? जीरो रहेगा ना वहां पे. We correlate only 4 factors. You're correlating only 4 factors, or you're doing tetrad equation, you're doing tetrad differences. You are comparing and subtracting the correlations of 4 factors with one another. यहाँ पे भी 4 factors ही हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पे correlation आपने 1 2 ली है, यहाँ पे 1 3 ली है, यहाँ पे आपने 3 4 ली है, यहाँ पे 2 4 ली है. ये देखिए आप. ठीक है. ओके. ऑलराइट, चलिए. गैस ऐसे मत बोलो, मुझे ही डांट पड़ जाएगी. क्यों, ऐसा क्यों? What happened? What is issue doing? All right, all right. Actually, we should not take from the other side. It will still be from this side only. So we have R13, which is here, right? देखिए. If you look at this. So R13 is 0.49. R13. And then R24 is basically what? 0.47. Okay. All right. 24. ठीक. Cool. All right. Now, according to Spearman, it should always. Okay. All right. बेचारी issue क्यों? All right, guys. Let's go. Are we cool? Are we understanding? Understanding or not understanding? Understanding, hopefully. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's try to understand. Now, why is it that sometimes the tetrad equation is not 0? Sometimes the tetrad equation or the tetrad differences are not 0. Why is that? ऐसा क्यों? Does it mean we have made a mistake? Does it always mean we have made a mistake? क्या हमेशा ऐसा है कि हमने गलती की है? Okay, all right. Now let's try to understand, is it really like that? Now we will see verbal factors. Can you guys tell me verbal factors which are similar to, like Wechsler's test or something like that? And then tell me performance, or let us say working memory wale factors. Working memory के factors. All right. Okay. ठीक है. Wonderful. So verbal factors, can I say, are comprehension, verbal fluency, information, synonyms, etc. Very, very good. All right. Now digit span is basically working memory. Arithmetic, so I can say math. Then on top of that, I can say other aptitude tests, or I can say basically memory related tests. What else do I have? Just simple arithmetic. Okay, ठीक है अभी तक? हाँ. All right. Okay, fine. Then can I say this is one group of specific factors and this is another group of specific factors? Earlier in his career, Spearman did not group factors. ठीक है? Spearman ने पहले factors को group नहीं किया था. Spearman initially, he did not do a lot of things initially, but poor guy eventually he did learn. Did not group factors until later years of his career. Until later in his career. So now tell me, these are verbal factors and these are working memory wale factors. So can I say this is one group of factors? Group 1 and group 2. Then can I say that the amount of G factor in each of the factors under one of these groups is going to be quite different? क्या हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि amount of G factor दोनों में बिल्कुल अलग होगा? Still, he gave us so much. Oh, somebody is being grateful. हाँ, nice. Okay, nice to show Spearman some respect. All right, चलिए. अब ऐसा करते हैं. Let us name these factors factor 1, factor 2, factor 3 and factor 4. Okay, this requires some time, so take your time also to understand. And let us name these factors: factor A, factor B, factor C and factor D. ठीक है? Okay. Alright. Now here itself we will try to create a tetrad equation which is not within but between these groups. अब हम between groups की tetrad equation एक बार try करेंगे. सोचो कि I basically put these. हाँ, सोचो कि I basically took these and I put them on the table. ठीक है? So what I will do is I will take factors 1, R1, 3 and then I will take R, I will also take R1 or 2, 4, ठीक है? Minus RAB into RCD. इसकी difference 0 आएगी guys. Is it compulsory that it will be 0? Is it compulsory that it will be 0? Will it be 0? Even if I take R1A into R2B minus R3C into R4D. Will it be 0? Will this also be 0? These will not be 0. These will not be 0. That's because different factors, group factors have different amount of G. Different group factors have varying amounts. Absolutely. ठीक है? That is why even though tetrad equations या tetrad differences should ideally be 0, हमेशा नहीं होते हैं. Ideally they should be 0, but they are not always 0. So we cannot use the word always. Can we say tetrad differences are expected to be 0? Yes. Are they always 0? Not always. Not always. Absolutely. Very, very good. If you understood, let me know, then we can move on. We can basically move on and we can summarize Spearman's theory, and then we will look at some other theories which were proposed in support of Spearman. Okay, chaliye, wonderful. All right. Then Spearman basically this is how he justified that there were ellipses, in the sense कि आप देखो ये factor अगर math है और ये factor अगर music है, the amount of G present in it is very different, and therefore there are bound to be differences. Different factors contain differing amounts of G. Alright, the first theory that we also, or not the first theory, another theory that we will need to discuss in a little bit of a depth today is Catel's GFGC theory. ठीक है? आपको एग्जाम में high chances हैं that they'll ask you this in a little bit of a depth. Alright? Okay, अपराजिता, that's wonderful. AR में आपको questions कैसे पूछेंगे? आपको पूछेंगे कि Spearman used any 4 abilities to basically understand the tetrad difference, or tetrad difference किसके लिए use किया गया to prove the existence of G factor. G factor को समझने के लिए हमें tetrad difference, Spearman ने tetrad difference use किया है. तो हाँ जी, and then you will say tetrad difference is always 0, तो वो गलत होगा. ठीक है, ऐसे पूछेंगे आपको. इस पे not just assertion reason, you will get other kinds of questions also. Yeah, you'll get a lot of questions actually. So actually let's go ahead and summarize Spearman's theory one last time. Do we have fresh page? Okay, all right. So we'll write summary. Finally, what did he do? Summary. Spearman, and then we will talk about other people who supported him as well. So when I talk about Spearman's theory, ये factor analytic theory है या नहीं guys? Is it a factor analytic theory or not? It is very, very clearly factor analytic. Okay, all right. ठीक है, this is factor analytic. Now that it is factor analytic, does it perform only one round of factor analysis? Does it perform only one round of factor analysis? No, it performs higher order factor analysis. Very, very good. Higher order factor analysis. Correct. Correct, correct, correct. Now we also need to understand that the many S factors, are they unrelated or are they related? ये जो हमारे पास बहुत सारी specific abilities हैं और specific factors हैं, क्या ये एक दूसरे के साथ related हैं और are they unrelated? They are, very, very good. They are related by virtue of G factor. Very, very good. Very, very good. They are related. Then what else do we need to understand here? So what did he find from the tetrad equation and tetrad differences? S factor or G factor? Tetrad equation and tetrad differences were used to find what? Used to G factor, or prove actually the existence of G factor. Prove the existence of G factor. Absolutely. Very, very good. Very, very good. Absolutely. Are we missing anything out? No. This is also known as the two-factor theory of intelligence. It's a very, very clearly factor analytical. And then Spearman believed that general factor of intelligence was the root cause of people's success in their life. Now let us look at who all supported Spearman. अगर हम Spearman की theory पे देखें कि कौन-कौन सी बाकी की theories based हैं, then can we make a list? Can we make a list of theories that are based upon Spearman's theory? So we can talk about Cattell, okay, and then later we talk about CHC theory, which we are going to talk about today. All right, then who else? Who else do we mention? Correct issue. Who else do we mention here? कि स्पीयरमैन के फॉलोअर कौन थे जिन्होंने जी फैक्टर की एग्जिस्टेंस को माना और people who actually used his own factor analytic model to go ahead and elaborate and to prove their own theories. So we have Vernon also. We'll talk briefly about him if we have some time. Vernon's hierarchical model is based upon Spearman's intelligence theory. उसके बाद we also have, who else do we have? We have Arthur Jensen. We have Arthur Jensen. Are we missing anybody out or is that it? That's it. And ma'am, the equation? Equation what? No, no, no. मैम बस यही था टेट्राड और मतलब और आपको इससे ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चाहिए. Hebb was not based on Spearman. Vernon's was based on Spearman's as well as Hebb's. Very, very good, guys. Very, very good. So we'll talk briefly about these other three theories also. First, let's talk about Cattell's theory and let us discuss it in depth so that we understand the CHC theory. Okay? All right? Good to go? Good to go, hopefully? Chaliye, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. So now we will talk about, what will we talk about? We will talk about Cattell's theory. See, so Cattell proposed that the same general intelligence which was earlier taken as a first order factor, तो यहाँ पे general intelligence आपका first order factor है. Yes? Okay? Alright? है तो, है ना? So Cattell said that while there is general intelligence का भी अलग-अलग nature हो सकता है. That there can be multiple factors that come out from the G factor and they can be different from one another. Now these can be correlated. Obviously they'll be correlated if they're coming out of the same thing. No ma'am, I was talking about Vernon. What about one? Vernon, yes, absolutely. Okay, yes. So here the G factor itself has been divided into two factors by Cattell. Same Raymond Cattell from Personality. Same guy, absolutely same guy. Now distinct but correlated. So GF and GC. GF, which is our fluid intelligence, which we do not need any schooling for, which we innately have within us, है ना, हमारी spontaneous reasoning capacity, our capacity to do logical reasoning, and our capacity to solve day-to-day problems, right? Which do not require any schooling. Whereas GC or crystallized intelligence is whatever we have learnt in school, whatever we have learnt from books, whatever we have learnt in our environment. ठीक है? Okay, fine. Now, if I were to ask you what order factors are these, then what will you say? तो कौन से order के factors हैं ये? आपको 10 seconds late मिलते हैं. What to do? Can't do anything like that. All right, now here we need to understand कि ये सारे second order factors हैं. ये सारे मतलब GF and GC, only the two. Okay, all right. Second order factors कौन कौन है यहाँ पे? GF and GC. So there was further factor analysis, higher order factor analysis to understand the nature of GF and GC. Now GF is supposed to be fluid intelligence, right? Okay, it's general to many fields. It is required for adapting to new situations, non-verbal reasoning also. जो भी आपके non-verbal IQ tests हैं, वहाँ पे GF is what is used. Non-verbal IQ tests. Okay, all right. हाँ जी, absolutely. क्वेश्चन भी आया था, आएगा ना, कैसे नहीं आएगा? Okay, all right. And then crystallized intelligence is basically our interaction. Okay, all right. So here it is a fluid intelligence which is actually invested into the crystallized intelligence. ये कैसे होता है? Let us try to understand. Okay, now let's try to understand difference between GF and GC. Now, can I say that GF is indirectly influenced by the environment? क्या हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं it is directly या indirectly influenced by the environment? GF, आपका GF? Can I say that? Indirectly, can I say that it is influenced by the environment? Okay, all right. Now, GF is never influenced by the environment, never influenced or never controlled by environment. All right. Okay, very, very good. Never controlled or changed. So no, it is not influenced directly or indirectly by the environment. But when we go to school, जब हम school जाते हैं, example, is it not the fluid intelligence that we use to reason out, to understand, to try to learn? देखिए ये जो फ्लूइड इंटेलिजेंस है ना, ये आपकी लर्न करने की कैपेसिटी है. तो जब आप स्कूल में एडमिशन लेते हो, स्कूल जाते हो, सीखना स्टार्ट करते हो, तो कैन आई से कि आपकी फ्लूइड इंटेलिजेंस ही है जो आपको लर्निंग में हेल्प कर रही है? कैन वी से दैट? आई हैव टाइप्ड ट्वाइस. व्हाट हैव यू टाइप्ड? नो, यू हैव टाइप्ड ट्वाइस. हाँ, रिया ने फर्स्ट ऑर्डर मार्क किया था. सो सैड. यू शुड नॉट, हाँ, you should not give out people's secrets in public. Okay, all right, fine. So when we go to school, imagine that what helps you spontaneously reason, what helps you understand your environment, what helps you, basically do whatever you have to do in your environment. So it is actually your fluid intelligence that is investing itself. आपकी fluid intelligence जो है ये interact करती है environment के साथ. Interacts with environment. इसका end product क्या आता है? What is resultant of this? इसका रिजल्ट क्या आता है? So इसका रिजल्ट एंड प्रोडक्ट यहाँ पे is GC. तो बनती है आपकी crystallized intelligence, like all of the learning that occurs in school, learning done from books या reading and all of that. But only when you take your fluid intelligence and have it interact with the book, your environment, class, and all of that, only then you will learn. Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely, Shramana. Absolutely. That is why it is called the investment theory of intelligence. Good, good. Very, very good. So, learning from books, all of the cumulative learning, cumulated learning throughout life. School, books, etc. throughout life. All right. Now, since this is our spontaneous reasoning ability, when does it decline? अब GF हमेशा थोड़ी ना ग्रो करेगा. It's going to decline also. कब decline होगा ये? हाँ जी. GF is what is invested to form GC. All right. Absolutely. 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 Then what do we say about GF? Is it always going to go up, keep increasing till the day we die, or does it go down eventually? So in our early 30s and late 20s, this will start to go down. That means इसमें कोई हम decline देखेंगे, थोड़ी reduction देखेंगे. Whereas the crystallized intelligence goes on to increase till late adulthood. Goes on to increase till late adulthood. All right. Okay. So now we understand. Now we understand. Now what? So ma'am, if GF is innate, GC is influence of environment, absolutely. तो क्या देखिए, this is direct interaction with environment only when your GF has GC is created, then is it influenced by the environment or not? आपका GC जो है आपके environment पे depend होता है या नहीं? होता तो है. कैसे नहीं होगा? कैसे नहीं होगा? तो आपका जो GC है, it is influenced directly also and indirectly also by environment. You remember how we discussed if a child doesn't have educational toys, तो कैसे सीखेंगे? वो किसी के पास बुक्स ही नहीं है तो कैसे सीखेंगे? So GC cannot occur without without resources के बगैर ये possible नहीं है. नहीं possible है. Absolutely. So GC will definitely be influenced by environment. Now we have the two second order factors. है ना? Yes. Now we've earlier also discussed that GF is the one that will be used for non-verbal intelligence tests. Non-verbal IQ tests. Alright? Okay. Fine. Now GF is innate and GC is learned throughout life. Now we need to understand if these are the second order factors. Did anybody expand this and did anybody add anything to this? ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या कुछ add किया गया? So John Horn actually expanded and he turned from 2 factors, he made it 10 factors. अब ये first order है या second order है? He went from 2 factors, second order factors, and he turned it into 10 factors. He said that there is not only GF and GC, but the G factor can be split into many other abilities as well, which help us function in day-to-day life. Let's see what they are. GB, visual processing, okay? Then we also have short-term memory, okay? GSAR or GSM. Then we have long-term storage and retrieval, okay? Now here this is TSR or GLR. आपको ये ज़रूरी नहीं है. You don't need to remember GS and GLR and GT, but you should remember their sequence. You might get asked in the upcoming exam. आपको ये next exam में पूछ सकते हैं. ओके हर्षिका, चलिए वंडरफुल. ये देखिए यहाँ पे क्या क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे. तो यहाँ पे इन्होंने एक्चुअली मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स ऐड किए. विजुअल प्रोसेसिंग के लिए अलग फैक्टर, राइट? GF है, GC है. Then there is a separate factor for auditory processing. There is another one for for making decision speed, reaction time, and stuff like that. Finally, if you look at it, quantitative reasoning and all of that. ये है Horn के second order factors. Second order factors. How many are there? There are 10 in total. इन्होंने क्या दिए हैं? 10 abilities दिए हैं. In addition or including including GF and GC. GF and GC को मिला के he has given 8 new abilities and therefore total इन्होंने 10 abilities का model दिया for second order factors. Remember that these are still second order factors. Okay, all right, fine. Okay, wonderful. Please remember that also. I'll ask you. देखिए, so there is fluid intelligence, quantitative knowledge, crystallized intelligence, short-term memory, visual processing, auditory processing, long-term memory, processing speed, reading and writing, and decision speed also. Okay, so this was added by Horn. Now later, Horn का अगर आपको समझ आ गया है, we'll move on to Carroll's. We'll move on to whatever Carroll has proposed. So let me know if you understood. मैम GF/GC को मिलाकर है ना 10. हाँ जी, total he has given as in his model. When he updated the model, he said the total number of second order factors is 10. That's what he has said. All right. Okay, guys. Let me know if everything is clear so far and then we'll move on. If there's any doubts, let me know. Let me know if there are any doubts. No doubts? Nothing? Okay, all right, wonderful, great. Chaliye then. Let's try to understand then, did anybody else update this or is it still the same theory that it was? Now, Carroll after this, what was his name? I forgot. Carroll basically is a guy. Okay, all right, John Carroll, I think. Okay, हाँ, ठीक है. Or you'll figure it out. Now, according to John Carroll or Carroll, he gave a three-stratum model. ठीक है, तो इन्होंने क्या किया? If you remember Vernon's theory and if you've done Vernon's intelligence theory, that also basically creates a hierarchical model out of the same two-factor theory given by Spearman. तो यहाँ पे Carroll turned Cattell's theory, which was updated by Horn. Again, he added one more layer. Okay. So stratum 1 according to him is level 3. Okay, alright, fine. Stratum 1 is lower level, yeah, level 3, and this is the specific factors. Narrow specific abilities, 69 abilities said. Okay, or 70 abilities. Specific abilities or specific factors can I say? तो जो Spearman के specific factors थे, very similar to that here, we have stratum 1. Starts from the bottom. Alright, stratum 1. ये देखो आप narrow abilities or you can also call them specific factors. Then he condensed the 10 factors to 8 factors. GF, GC, GY, GV. So this is visual processing, you have auditory processing, then you have memory, and we'll see what else he has changed. Specific factors. So can I say second order factors? Us are basically your GF, GC and all that. Okay. These are second order factors and these are also known as stratum 2 here, second level, level 2. Level 2. अगर आप किससे compare करो Vernon की theory के साथ. So second order factors. And what you have over here is nothing but the G factor. So basically took Cattell's model, organized it, middle factors वही रखे, second order factors जो Horn ने दिए थे, right? थोड़ी सी change की उनमें and then just sandwiched it between the G factor and the specific factors. Okay guys, just took it and then put it in between the specific and the general factors. Ma'am, do we need to learn all of these factors? Yes, recognizing is enough. You need to recognize them. I will give questions. मैं questions दूंगी आपको recognize करना है. All right. Okay. Wonderful. ठीक है? Okay. Understanding? ठीक है. So that is basically it. We just need to understand now what factors were reduced. As you can see, quantitative knowledge जो है वो यहाँ पे नहीं रखा Carroll ने. This is the final model, CHC theory. Final model, CHC theory. High probability they may ask you in the upcoming exam. So CHC theory में quantitative knowledge के लिए factor नहीं है, which has been included in fluid intelligence because you know non-verbal intelligence, fluid intelligence, quantitative can also fit in. Alright, and then reading and writing has been just included as a part of crystallized intelligence. वो ये changes लाई हैं बस. Only 2 factors कम कर दिए. हाँ जी, ये जो है ये दूसरे फैक्टर्स में ही इन्होंने इंक्लूड कर दिए हैं. दैट्स ऑल. बाकी सब सेम है. बाकी अगर आप देखेंगे नाम थोड़े डिफरेंट हैं बट बाकी सब सेम है. ऑलराइट. जनरल मेमोरी एंड लर्निंग, तो मेमोरी इज मेमोरी ओनली, right? Visual perception, visual processing, just names are different, rest is the same, it's the same. थोड़े से नाम को चेंज, थोड़ा सा नामों को चेंज कर दिया है. All right, so that is the CHC model. All right. हाँ जी, any questions here? इसमें आपको थोड़ा रिवाइज करना है. I will update notes immediately after the class is done, or by 10 p.m. I'll update. Any doubts guys? Any doubts so far? Please ask. तो यहाँ पे आपके लेवल्स जो what do I say, in Vernon's model जैसे levels organize किए हैं, it's the opposite of that. Just like you see in Vernon's model there is level 1 which is G, यहाँ पे stratum 3 is G. So it's the opposite. It is bottom to top, stratum 1, stratum 2 and stratum 3. Okay, all right, all right, all right, wonderful, wonderful. Then lastly, what will we talk about? Lastly, we'll just summarize once Vernon's model as well as Arthur Jensen's model. This time I want you guys to tell me. Okay, मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप responses दो. So first we will talk about Arthur Jensen's model. What kind of factor analysis did he use to prove Spearman's theory? By the time you guys answer, I will wait. I'll wait 10 seconds. Promise. I will wait. What did Arthur Jensen use? Okay, he used confirmatory factor analysis to just confirm the structure of Spearman's theory. For his own design, for his own theory. He used multiple regression design. Alright, okay, wonderful. So, from Arthur Jensen, we have level 1 factors and we have level 2 factors. So, यहाँ पे भी this theory also accepts the existence of a G factor. Accepts existence of G and therefore proposes 2 levels of intelligence. जहाँ पे level 1 simply refers to very, very good higher order factor analysis. Alright, higher order factor analysis. Now, one thing we need to understand here is that, Hanji, absolutely. Level 1 is simple memory recording and so on, simple cognitive functions. Simple cognitive functions. Like memory recording and so on, and then basic comprehension and so on. Then the study that he did between, white Americans and so on, Caucasians, Asians, and then African Americans. He studied racial groups, right? He studied racial groups also. He studied socioeconomic status also. And what else did he study? Absolutely. Absolutely. He studied something else also. Okay. All right. So in racial groups, he basically took Asians. He took Caucasians or Americans, white Americans. And he took African Americans. Right? Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Gender much later. Much later he compared gender. Not for this study. Now here we really need to understand that in level 1 factors, did he find any racial differences? He did not find any racial differences. Whereas according to him, level 2 abilities were what? Were abstract thinking abilities or were abstract reasoning abilities, essay writing and so on and so forth. Abstract abilities, right? Okay, all right. तो ये हमारी सारी, हाँ जी, yes, yes, absolutely, abstract abilities, absolutely. ठीक है, तो here you can say reasoning and all of that, essay writing, school projects and all that. And therefore according to him level 2 abilities, which are the complicated abilities जो environment से ज़्यादा आते हैं, और level 1 abilities बिल्कुल, as in he didn't say they come from the environment, he said that we have to learn them after interacting with the environment. But still according to him 80% all of our intelligence and all of our capacity is genetic. 80 to 90% he said is genetic. Okay, all right, so he did study heredity as well. He studied socioeconomic status, heredity, and he studied race. Okay, these were the three important factors according to him in what? In studying intelligence. So abstract reasoning or school projects and so on, according to him level 2 abilities determined academic success. सारी आपकी academic success कहाँ से आती है? According to Arthur Jensen comes from level 2 abilities. Very, very good. Very, very good. करेक्ट प्रिया, आई एम ग्लैड यू रिमेम्बर वेल. मैम ऐसा लग रहा है कि टेलीग्राम पुराने जमाने वाले से भेज रहे हैं हम कमेंट्स, इतनी देर बाद रिसीव हो रहे हैं. अब मैं क्या बोलूं. Alright, so level 2 abilities, basically he was able to find racial differences. He was able to find what? Racial differences. And therefore he confirmed that African Americans were basically not able to cope up or not able to perform as well in level 2 abilities as Asians and Caucasians. Caucasians जो white Americans थे और जो Asians थे उनकी performance बिल्कुल अच्छी थी. कहाँ पे? level 2 abilities पे. लेकिन African Americans की नहीं थी. That is because according to him they needed more help and the education system was not catering to their needs. ठीक है? Okay. All right. Ma'am, level 1 related to GF, G more in general. Yes, GF. Yes, you can say that. You can, Janat, Ginny, if you want to basically correlate or if you want to say कि हाँ similar है, हाँ, level 1 abilities जो है GF से similar है. Basic comprehension, basic understanding day to day life. All right, guys. Any doubts? Did we miss anything? Let me know if there are any doubts here. So therefore, level 2 abilities is where he found the racial differences. Then we will just do a quick overview of Vernon's theory and then we are done for the day. All clear, ma'am. All clear, ma'am. All clear. And then we can say happy weekend to each other. All right. So let's quick just go through Vernon's theory. Vernon gave a hierarchical model. Give a hierarchical model of intelligence. Can I say that this was based upon Spearman's model? Yes, and Donald Hebb's model, but mostly we will talk about Spearman. Based upon Spearman's model. ठीक है, wonderful. So he gave levels of intelligence. ये levels of intelligence क्या थे? Let's try to understand. So level 1, according to him, the most important factor was the G factor, which was required for every single skill in our life. ठीक है? According to him, this was also the most important. This was also the most important. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Very good. Then level 2 was what? Minor group or major group factors. These were major group factors. Major group factors. They are known as VED, verbal educational factors, and KM, spatial and mechanical factors. Group factor as in group of factors this is. Okay, that's why they're known as major group factors. Verbal and educational. तो ये आपके vocabulary skills यहाँ पे बाकी चीजें literature and all of that whatever you learn in school basically comes here. And this is spatial. Spatial reasoning, visual spatial reasoning and your mechanical reasoning. Mechanical मतलब psychomotor abilities and so on. All right. Okay. अभी तो क्लियर है मैम, एमसीक्यू में पता चलेगा. करेक्ट एब्सोल्युटली. एंड देन वी हैव, अब एमसीक्यू में ही पता चलेगा. एंड देन वी हैव लेवल 3. What is level 3? Here we have minor group factors. Minor group factors. Like probably, what do I say? मंडे को पता चल जाएगा. हाँ, मंडे को सब पता चलेगा. So here we have minor group factors which can probably be like, what do I say, math skills, not math skills really, vocabulary, some vocabulary and so on. Okay, and then gymnastics and so on. Or overall flexibility and things like that. Then level 4 and the last one is basically your specific factors, which are least important in day-to-day life. Except if you have a job in the particular specific factor or specific ability. So ये Spearman के ही specific factors. That's all. हाँ जी, absolutely. चलिए. हाँ, let's write down then. Let's write down verbal fluency. Let's write down verbal fluency. All right. Any doubts? Hanji, let me know if there are any doubts. I think I'm getting the comments from all of you very late. Very late. I don't know how to improve that. Hopefully, I can do something about it. Hanji, ab chutti. Ha, happy weekend to everybody. But before that, we'll just have a little bit of a word. So I have not put up next week's class yet. Any of you, if you think, I should take up a certain topic, which is, going to be about 90 minutes class. So let me know if there's anything that you would like me to cover. अगर आपको कोई topic या आप कोई topic चाहते हैं मैं cover करूँ in next week's class, it will be a theory class only. So anything with, relation to psychology, you can basically ask. Absolutely, Akshita. Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for learning with me. If there's anything else, if you want to request for a particular class, if you want to, yeah, basically request for something, you can go ahead and do it. If there's anything you want to share, you can do that too. I will see you guys tomorrow. Wait, 1 minute. Ma'am, level 4, it's not clearly visible on screen. Shilpa, do you have, here, you can see, kahan gaya level 4. That's because I am standing here. Shilpa, are you a part of the plus class? आप plus class का हिस्सा हो? I'm going to share the notes for you immediately. Level 4 are simply specific factors. Ma'am, I wanted to tell you that I scored 28 marks. That's wonderful. Happy ending, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for learning with me, guys. I will share the notes with you. इसके जो PDF notes हैं ये मैं आपके साथ अभी share करूँगी in some time. By 10 o'clock. If there's anything else, do let me know. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for learning with me. If you want to join Unacademy, the whole syllabus, all of those. If you want to join the plus or the iconic classes, please go ahead and use the code Hafsa Live. If you want to join my Telegram group where you will find access to many more of my classes, resources, links, everything, you can go ahead and join. And that is about it from me. I shall take my leave. I'll be here for another 1 minute. Thank you so much. मैम एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट पर कर सकते हैं आप बताइए. Psychological testing. What exactly do you guys want me to do on psychological testing? I'll see you guys tomorrow as well. Not on YouTube. YouTube will be every Friday 8 p.m. So make sure to tune in here. Happy weekend everybody. Let me know also if you like the class, please make sure to like it, give it a thumbs up. Also what else, share the class if you think other people will benefit from it. Ma'am, can't wait for tomorrow. Me neither. All right, guys. All right, chaliye, take very good care of yourself. I am ending the class here. Have a great weekend. Bye.